Everybody, I am shut down for the night here in Waco, Georgia. Stay tuned and we'll talk about what's going on. Hey everybody, this is Rick, also known as Duke City Devil Dog. Today is the 24th of February, 2021. As I said, I'm in Waco, Georgia. Just shut down for the night. Was tough finding a parking place. I want to talk about a couple things just to share. A little bit about Crete and home time, and we can talk a little bit about Stevens and home time. I think we've talked a little bit about it before, but with with Stevens with home time, you used to get 1 day of home time for every 7 days out, and that was to a max of 5 days. And once you got 5 days, you couldn't accumulate any more than that. When you took your time off, you had to take all of it, and they were and if you took too much time, more than your time off, and I'm not talking about just a couple days or whatever, but if it turned into weeks or whatever, they'd send somebody to get your truck, charge you for it or whatever. That's something they could do. I know that they have done before, but and Stevens, because they run a lot of the same routes, depending on where you're at, it could be a little bit difficult to get home. More often than not, what ended up happening with me is I would get a repower that would take me somewhere near Albuquerque, where I would deadhead into Albuquerque. Every once in a while, I'd get a load into Los Lunas. I got a load one time in out of California into Albuquerque, but there's not a lot that Stevens takes into Albuquerque itself. They do into the Walmart distribution center in Los Lunas, which is about 30 miles south of Albuquerque, but that's what you're going to look for. But more often than not, you ended up getting repowered there in Albuquerque, and because Stevens has a lot of trucks going back and forth on 40, so you'd have that happen quite a bit. And then to get out of there, you would either get repowered, or you'd repower somebody, or you would end up just deadheading out to the Midwest, to the meat patch, to pick up a load and start running it. So a lot of deadhead time from there. Now the one thing about it is that when they're deadheading you to home with Stevens, they don't. That's not paid. If you're a company guy, they're going to pick up the fuel, but you don't get any of the mileage there. Now you do get the mileage from your home to wherever you're deadheading to pick up a load afterwards, but not that way. With Crete, they've been able to, for every time I get home, they've been able to get me a load to either Los Lunas or to Albuquerque. So that's been really good. So, and then they've gotten me getting out of there, loads either there in Albuquerque, getting out of there, or somewhere near there. So anyway, it's been pretty good as far as that. I do want to talk, one of the things that's with Crete is, when you've been out and you're a company person and you've been out about 3 weeks or 4 weeks, or you're within about 6 days of when normally your home time would be, you're going to get a message on the PeopleNet tablet, and it's going to tell you it's going to tell you, it's going to ask you whether you want to stay out longer. And if not, it says, well, within about 6 days, if you don't respond to this, and tell us that you want to stay out longer, we're going to work on routing you home within the next 6 days, give or take. And I've stayed out longer. With Crete, you can stay out as long as you want. And if you're over the road, you got to stay out at least, I think it's 24 days, 26 days, something like that. Sorry, I'm a little tired, but you can stay out longer, and you can earn more time, home time. With Crete, every 6 days you earn 1 day of home time. So you're earning a little bit faster, and you can accumulate as much as you want. The only thing is that once you start taking it, you got to take all of it, or you lose it. So, like in a few months, I want to go to Hawaii to visit a buddy of mine. So I'm going to stay out for a couple months or so, and try to stay out there for at least a week and a half, 2 weeks. So, that's something that you can plan on. Now, getting you home's the interesting part, and that's sort of coming back to why I'm in Waco, Georgia. So I've got a great asset manager, Sarah. She's great, and the planners are really good, and everything like that. When it was decided, okay, I want to go home. I haven't been home in about a month, but I want you to start sending me home. They sent me 4 pre-plans, not to choose from, but they routed. They figured out. I don't know how they did. I'm going to guess they started in Albuquerque and backtracked, but they got me 4 pre-plans that if I followed all 4, one after the other, it was going to get me home. It's going to get me home. So I am right now just picked up the 3rd pre-plan in this deal. So I've got I had a load that got me down to Florida. I had a load, that was the first part of the pre-plan to get me down to Florida. Then the second part of the pre-plan was picking up a load that picked up both in Florida and in South Carolina and delivered here in Georgia. The third part was picking up a load here in Georgia, which I just did, and that's the one that I have, that's supposed to go to Paris, California. Now, if I had the time and I decided, well, I have the time, but if I had decided I didn't want to go home and they gave me this one, I'd run it all the way. It's 2,300 miles. It's a good run. And do it in about 4 days, give or take, maybe 5 days. But I would do that. But what they're going to do is, instead, what they're having me do is they pick this up, and I'm running it to Wilmer, Texas, to our yard there in Wilmer, and I'm going to T-call it on the yard there. Somebody's going to pick it up there in Wilmer and run it out to California. But they got me a load picking up in Wilmer, not at the yard, but at one of our customers, running to Los Lunas, New Mexico. So that's going to be the 4th one to get me home. But just to put all that together so that I can get home and to do that, my driver managers at Stevens were really good, but it was hit or miss trying to find the right thing that was going to get you home. And sometimes you could do it, and sometimes you couldn't. This one, in this case, like this, I mean, they did some work to get me to figure this out. Now, the tricky part was, and is making sure I hit all these deadlines, because if I miss something, or I fall behind somehow, or if the weather got bad or whatever, then it would throw a wrench in it. Back in Christmas time, I don't know if you watched one of my videos, they had done something similar, and I was out here in Florida or in Georgia, and they were trying to get me home, and one of the loads fell through because it was so close to Christmas. It wasn't my fault, but one of the loads fell through, and because that load fell through, everything after it fell the wayside, because they had planned it like that. So they had to find me something else, which they did, and they got me home, which was great. But it's another thing I just like about Crete. I mean, they're so driver centered. I mean, okay, it's time to get you home. We're gonna figure it out, and we're gonna put this together, and you just run it, and it'll get you home. And that's exactly what I'm doing. So I really appreciate it, and I appreciate all the hard work, and I just got to do my part. And so far, so good. This has to be on the yard in Wilmer as quickly as they can, so somebody can pick it up and finish running it. So because the load I'm picking up in Wilmer, I don't pick up till the 27th, and that doesn't drop in Los Lunas until sometime on the 1st. So everything's sort of set like that. I should be in Wilmer not tomorrow, but the day after, and we'll go from there. But we're gonna run. We're gonna enjoy that run. Now, got to see some beautiful country today. I'd driven through South Carolina, but just on the interstate before. I got to get off the interstate because I had to go from one interstate to another, and to get there, it took, I had to take some U.S. highways and a couple state routes and stuff. But just beautiful area in South Carolina, just wonderful. I could see the allure of living out there. That was great. And then having to drive through Atlanta. If you become a truck driver, or even if you drive a four-wheeler, driving through Atlanta is rough. It's rough. You better keep your wits about you. I always do the same thing when I drive in heavy traffic in cities. Everything gets turned off. I mean, I make sure that the screen on my phone, because my phone's on a little charging thing, and it usually has just a screensaver or whatever on it, as it's charging. I make sure that that's turned off, so it's just blank, so there's nothing to catch my eye that I don't need to be worrying about. The radio goes off. I turn it all the way down and that kind of stuff. I leave my CB on because sometimes it's good to know what you're coming up on. Here in Atlanta, there was some issues, some wrecks and stuff like that the CB helped a lot on, so that helped out. But it's hard to find parking depending on what part of Atlanta you're in. This was the third truck stop I stopped at on my way west to try to find a place to crash for the night, and it was tough. So thank God that Crete has personal conveyance, because I was able to. That's exactly what it is. I planned my safe haven. It was full. I had a secondary one, and I had a third one, and I had to go to each of them, and I was able to use PC to do it. It wasn't very long. It was about 20 miles total, but it got me shut down. If I would have been with Stevens or with a company that doesn't have PC, I'd just end up violating. That's what it would have been. And to be honest with you, it would have probably been a little bit my own fault. I messed up this morning when I was getting loaded. The second part of that load. If I would have waited 3 more minutes, I would have had a 2-hour break, and I could have done a 2/8 split and gotten a little bit more drive time or a little bit more on duty time. But I wasn't paying attention, and I left about 4 minutes too soon. So it is what it is, but we'll learn and go from there. But hope you guys stay safe. I had a few people that coming aboard here in Crete. A few people that have been asking me questions about careers worldwide, and hopefully I've been able to answer those for you. I'll get to answer all the questions that you have sent me fairly soon, and we'll go from there. Good luck to all you guys starting to head to CDL school. If there's any information or anything I can help you with, please let me know. If you haven't subscribed, please subscribe to my channel. We have gone over 200. I think we're about 220 subscribers. Like to get to 300 by the end of March. That'd be great, and beyond. So if you share it with your friends. If you enjoy it, comment below. Like I said, hit the little subscribe button, hit the bell icon to be notified when I post. And last thing is, just remember, I've got that promotion going. If you try to come to Crete to drive, and you list me correctly the right way as your referral, and I get credit for your referral. So you got to do it the right way. If you don't know how, send me a message, and I'll walk you through it. And you come and drive for Crete. You go through orientation, and you drive for Crete for at least 60 days. I'm saying 60 days. I will send you a Bluetooth trucker headset, or we'll figure something else out if you already have one. But anyway, like I said, you help take care of me, and I'll help take care of you, and everything will be great. So appreciate it. I'm gonna eat and then get some shut-eye, and we'll talk to you soon. So this is Rick, also known as Duke City Devil Dog. I'm in Waco, Georgia, and I'm driving for Crete Carrier Corporation, and I'm psyched. You guys have a great one. I will talk to you later.